Well, my name's Freya. I am 50 and I live in Cults in Aberdeen with my husband Andy and my two kids, Kira and Ryan. I was diagnosed in officially March 2014, and prior to that my dad had died when he'd come out to Calgary for Christmas. We were living in Canada at the time, and things weren't quite right in January. I had a couple of funny turns and just put it all down to the stress and the grief of that time, but I ended up going to my doctor and she sent me for an ultrasound, and it was bizarre because these things normally take about 20 minutes. I was there for an hour and a half and they kept bringing in different doctors and technicians and knew something was wrong. Discovered lymphoma that was basically all through the left side of my body, and yes, officially diagnosed in March 2014, and they told me it was a non-curable slow-growing cancer, but it was treatable. The treatment was 6 months of chemo, given once a month, and I finished that October, November 2014, at which time they did a CT scan and discovered that there was a hotspot still here, and they suspected it was a different type of lymphoma, an aggressive, fast-growing lymphoma that hadn't been picked up before. So, of course, that was bad news. I'd gone through my treatment. They said 6 months, you don't even lose your hair, you'll be back at work by Christmas, sort of thing. And yeah, it wasn't to be. So they said on Hogmanay, the doctor phoned me up. We were away for a few days and said, if we do nothing, you'll be dead in a few months. So you're young enough, we're going to throw the book at you and do a stem cell transplant. I started the process for a stem cell transplant in February 2015. And it's a really quite long drawn out thing. Really high doses of chemo, you do lose your hair, you become very ill. And actually my stem cells were given back to me on May 1st, 2015, which was the day before my birthday. So they called it a rebirth day in the unit, which was kind of nice. But overall I was hospitalised for 30 days. And yeah, it was a tough time, there's no doubt. It was really difficult treatment to go through. And it's a bit of a sad thought, but I didn't know how things were going to turn out. I didn't know if that treatment would be successful and ultimately keep the cancer in remission. And I did say to my husband at one point, if I'm going to die, I'd rather die in Scotland. So that was what prompted us to come home. I was literally just leaving for the airport and I got a call from my doctor, and she said the results are back and I have no concerns whatsoever. I had my first in-person appointment just a couple of weeks ago, and the first person I ran into at the top of the stairs was a Friends of Anchor girl, and just checking, are you well? Should you be here? It was lovely. It really reduced my anxiety actually when I arrived, just to have a friendly smiley face at the top of the stairs. It made such a difference. But being a mum at that time, it was really difficult for me and very difficult for my two kids. They were only 6 and 8 at the time that I was first diagnosed, and even now I have to manage my energy levels. If I have a busy morning, I can't do anything in the evening, and it's just the way life is. It's certainly better than it used to be, but I still have to manage that. But I think my main sort of mantra, it was something that was on a screen in the foyer of the school that my kids went to at the time. And I would drop them off and walk in, and often on the screen it would say, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass, it's about learning to dance in the rain. And oh gosh, it just means so much to me, because my son and I would read that, and we would just, it made a huge difference to how we went about life at the time. So I tried to make sure that the diagnosis didn't stop me living life and getting on with having experiences. Yeah, just my message to people is just keep on having those experiences. None of us know how long we've got, and you can only do what you can do when you're not feeling well. But at the same time, it's you just have to get on with life, and do things with your kids and your partner and your parents and whoever else is important in your life, and just keep having those experiences.